Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, your sanctuary with retreat experts, where we spill the tea on retreat success. Here we dive into crafting transformational guest experiences, talk about how to avoid pitfalls, and unlock marketing secrets. Whether you're a seasoned guru or a budding enthusiast, we've got the inside scoop for you. Join us as we learn how to flourish in this magical world of retreats. Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, formerly the Happy Hour Podcast. This is Shannon. So today's topic is not going to be as fun as maybe some of our other topics, but still so very important. And that is the crucial role of boundaries in retreat leadership. Because leading a retreat involves more than just organizing the activities and managing logistics, as you know if you've been listening to my show. It also, though, requires the subtle art of setting and maintaining boundaries. For retreat leaders, boundaries are essential. They are essential to create a safe, respectful, and effective environment for all of your guests. So today's show is going to explore why boundaries are pivotal for you, as well as provide practical examples and strategies for enforcing them effectively. So let's get started. Hey there, retreat leaders. Are you ready to supercharge your marketing game and sell out your next transformational retreat? Of course you are. And I've got something special just for you. Introducing our free guide, The Top 3 Marketing Tools for Retreat Leaders. This just isn't any guide. It's your ticket to discovering the top 3 tools that will help you create a sold-out, unforgettable retreat experience. But wait, there's more. We've included a little bonus inside to give you that extra edge. Curious about what that is? You'll have to download it to find out. Ready to grab your free guide and take the first step towards retreat marketing mastery? Well, visit retreatmarketingtools.com and download your copy now. And remember, it's absolutely free, so why wait? Visit retreatmarketingtools.com to get your guide and start transforming your retreat marketing strategy today. Let's start first with understanding the importance of boundaries. I feel like in our personal lives or personal discussions, or if you work with a therapist or read a lot of self-help books, you know that boundaries for yourself in general are just really, really important. Now let's talk about why it's important in like our business session or our business lives, because listen, if you are listening to this podcast, then you know hosting retreats is a business. It's not a hobby. And so we're going to talk about the importance of boundaries in this business setting. And boundaries in this business setting of retreat hosting serves multiple purposes. They help manage participant expectations. They protect the retreat leader's energy, big time important, and they ensure personal and just group safety. They also just overall maintain the integrity of the retreat experience, which is important. This kind of goes back to some of my other shows where I've talked about the willy-nilly of some hosts who are just throwing shit together, and they probably have no boundaries whatsoever, which can cause a lot of problems. Because when you have well-defined boundaries, they not only support the leader, but they also enhance the participant's experience. And this does this through creating a structure or a secure environment that's conducive to growth and learning, or whatever your goal or objective or your why is, right? And so it is super important to have boundaries. Let's talk about what they are. The first one is managing expectations. So setting clear boundaries from the outset really helps manage your participants' expectations about what the retreat will involve, what behavior is acceptable, and also how they can interact with each other and the leader. This sounds really like, are you serious? Yes, I'm super serious. Especially in your communication about what your retreat will involve, what's included, what's not included, what kind of things are we going to be sharing, what are we doing, what activities, and then what behavior is acceptable. This is big, y'all. You should clearly have this outlined in your retreat expectations, and then how they should interact with others, etc. So for example, if a retreat leader includes free time or silent periods, you need to explicitly state this in your schedule, which will prevent confusion. And it also just sets a clear expectation for participants' behavior during those times. One of the examples I can give you just even in my own retreats that I host is on their agenda. It has, everything scheduled. And then it says if you're going to opt out of things, especially yoga or meditation or whatever I've listed on there, please be mindful of the noises that you make because they carry and they can be disruptive during those times, right? So in other words, it's a nice way of saying, please be quiet when we are doing these things if you're not going to join us. And so setting those clear expectations is super important, which is a boundary. This should happen during the registration process and then during your opening circle or gathering, right? I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but just making sure you know that this should not be a surprise. Your guests should not show up and then all of a sudden they've got all of these boundaries that you've put in place without communicating it ahead of time. So another example could be at the beginning of your mindfulness retreat, the leader specifies that all the meals will be taken in silence to deepen the reflective process and experience, and really just to respect each individual space and what they're trying to gain, right? But if you didn't tell your guests that before they show up, like they're coming to a mindfulness retreat, awesome, maybe for stress reduction, whatever may be the case as far as the end goal, but they show up and they're like, wait, all meals, I have to be completely silent and I didn't know I signed up for that? That's not going to work. I could just tell you right now, that's not going to work unless you've made that clear. You might have some issues. So another reason why is protecting the leader's energy. This is huge. I can tell you that when I first started hosting retreats, I had zero boundaries and I just was exhausted. I was mentally drained. I was physically drained. I felt sick. It just was awful. I even questioned my why, why am I doing this? And so protecting the leader's energy, your energy is crucial because you pour a significant amount of emotional and physical energy into planning and running retreats. And so setting boundaries around your availability, your personal space, etc., is really crucial to prevent that burnout, which can happen. And it ensures that you can perform at your best throughout the whole event. So some examples. A retreat leader might establish specific times for open hours when participants can approach them with questions or concerns. And this just ensures that you as a leader, you have time to recharge and to attend to your own needs. You still need to do your personal self-care during your retreats. Also, listen. I feel like that YouTube or TikTok, I don't know what it is, where it's like, listen, Linda, listen. A retreat leader, you should also absolutely have private sleeping quarters. This is a non-negotiable. You have to have a space for yourself to retreat, to regroup, to reboot, for self-care, to rest your face, right? You have to have that private space. So that's very important. Protect your energy. Hey, it's Shannon here. I'm just popping in really quickly to ask a big favor. Would you pause the show and go review it for us? Please. Reviews really help us to be able to get more guests and more experts on the show to help you transform your retreats. So if you wouldn't mind pausing and leaving us a review, that would mean everything. And if you're not already subscribed, do that too. The next one is ensuring safety. This is just as important as your energy, right? Because physical and emotional safety is a top priority in any group setting, especially at retreats. Boundaries around physical contact, sharing personal stories, emotional support, all of these things are vital to create a safe space where all participants do feel secure and valued, right? Examples are, let's say it's a therapeutic writing retreat, and the leader might set ground rules that participants should not touch each other without explicit consent, and should also be mindful of the emotional impact their stories, that their sharing of their stories might have on others, right? So to me, also in this setting, but also in any setting that you are hosting, is just reminding participants that what is shared on retreat stays on retreat, right? That's something that I talk about at the beginning of some of my retreats where we might be doing some deep emotional healing, is that what we discuss and what we share here stays here. And everybody agrees to that in writing, right? And so just having whatever boundary you have to ensure physical, emotional, whatever type of safety that you need to focus on, that you have that outlined and that it's discussed and it's understood. But you should have it. It should, again, not just be willy-nilly. Okay, another reason is maintaining professionalism and respect. So boundaries help maintain a professional and respectful environment, period. End of story. But especially in settings where deep personal work is being done. This is so important. This includes maintaining that professional distance, which it really does vary based on the type of retreat that you have, and just ensuring that interactions do not become overly familiar or inappropriate not only between you as the leader and your guests, but also your team members and the guests, and possibly guest to guest, right? So this all depends on the type of retreat you are offering and what's going on at your retreat, but these are things to consider. So an example might be a retreat leader makes it clear to their team that personal relationships with participants are not appropriate and that all interactions between your team and the guests should remain within the context of retreat setting and its objectives, right? So communicating that, making sure your team member understands, or if it's between guest to guest or however it is, like making sure that this is set and understood. Let's talk about some quick strategies for setting and enforcing boundaries. First and foremost, absolutely the most important is clear communication. From the initial advertisement, what does your landing page, what does your website say, to your registration forms, to the opening session of the retreat, you need to make sure you've communicated your boundaries clearly and consistently. There should be no conflict of you said this, but this is happening, or now you're telling me this. It should be super, super clear and communicated from start to execution. Another thing is lead by example. So model the behavior and boundaries you expect from your participants, from your team. Demonstrating respect for your own rules, your own boundaries really encourages others to follow suit. Also, y'all, it's just a great way to demonstrate boundaries for yourself, to encourage them to do the same for themselves. Because a lot of people who are coming on retreat, especially healing or deep work, one of the issues to why they are feeling the way they feel is because they don't have boundaries in place. So leading by example is a really great tool. Another thing is be consistent. Apply those rules, those boundaries uniformly to everyone, including yourself. To yourself, your team members, participants, everyone. That just really fosters that sense of fairness and stability and security. It's kind of like if you're a parent or you've read any kind of parenting book or anything like that. Pets too, right? Anything. Where you're saying, if you do this, this happens. Don't do this and this happens, or whatever may be the case. Like the more consistent you are, the more you hold to your rules and your boundaries, the safer they feel, believe it or not. So be consistent. Another thing you might do is provide your rationale. Explain why your boundaries are in place. So for the guests, because if they understand the reasons behind these boundaries, it really can increase their willingness to comply. So just sharing your rationale can really help. And you don't have to do that with every single one. Some of them might be super obvious, but providing that rationale can really help them to have buy-in. Are you a retreat host looking to take your marketing skills to the next level? Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, our Retreat Marketing Masterclass is here to help you master, and I mean master, the art of retreat marketing. In this dynamic class, you'll dive deep into both digital and traditional marketing techniques, tailored specifically for retreat hosts. Learn the secrets of social media strategies, content marketing, and even how to leverage AI to boost your outreach. But that's not all. Our masterclass offers continuous updates to keep you aligned with the ever-evolving market trends. Imagine transforming your retreats into sought-after, sold-out experiences. Ready to turn your vision into reality? Join our Retreat Marketing Masterclass today and watch your retreats flourish. Don't miss out on this opportunity to elevate your marketing game. Visit retreatmarketingtools.com to enroll now and start your journey towards becoming a marketing master. And then lastly is prepare to reinforce. Have a plan for gently but firmly reinforcing these boundaries if they are tested. Right? And this might include having private conversations with guests or reminding the group of the rules during specific sessions. But have a plan. Because listen, overall, setting effective boundaries is really a crucial skill. It is a skill, by the way, it's learned, but it's a crucial skill for all of y'all, for all of us. It just not only ensures that the smooth operation of your retreat happens, but it just deeply impacts the personal experience of each guest. It really also fosters this environment where genuine growth and transformation can occur. When you clearly define and maintain boundaries, you can create a space that is safe, respectful, and conducive to the profound work that you want to accomplish. So here's to setting your boundaries, and until next time. Thanks for listening to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. Learn more at www.theretreatranch.com. See you next time.